Hi, everyone. So I want to introduce all of our food farms and chefs and fans to two amazing people. First is Sarah DaFaviis, who is the marketing director of Bellefonte Brewing, and then one of the owners and the CEO of Bellefonte Brewing, who is Robert Boyle. Rob and Sarah, thank you for joining us on Food Farms and Chefs.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So, I know that you guys started Bellefonte Brewing in a shed. Was that somebody else's idea, like where they started brewing the beers in a shed, and then it just kind of grew from there?
Yeah, so a bunch of us that are now owners, all were in the same homebrew club together, and I was in the backyard of one of our friends, and once a week we would get together to just be men away from our families and brew beer. And we brewed 10 gallons of homebrew a week, many different recipes, and a couple of those recipes we've kept on here at the brewery.
And as far as your recipes are concerned, who comes up with all of them? Do you guys collaborate together?
So most of the recipe design is our brewer Joe Bob Jacobs, and he's a really good homebrew background, and he just has what he thinks are great ideas about what goes into a beer and what makes it taste good to him, and thankfully that translates well into other people really liking it too. And he's an excellent source for those recipe ideas. Once the recipes are created, then it's on a group of us to come up with names and to pitch ideas to Sarah to come up with labels, and sometimes we're not very helpful with that, and so Sarah gets to be creative and come up with what the best way is to sell the beer beyond just be able to try it.
Now, you initially opened, or I don't know if you had been on board at that point in time, but the original location is off of Old Capitol Trail, and it was a smaller venue than the one that I met Sarah at, and I think I saw you in passing while I was there. But what was that like, opening that up, and just having that joy of like seeing the growth of the brewery itself?
It was pretty a pretty amazing experience. We had three founders, and two of them were brewers, and they each have their own ideas about what makes a great beer, and one of them ended up leaving to start another brewery. But when we opened 6 years ago, it was a rainy Saturday, and we still managed to get 600 people pass through this little 1,800 square foot storage unit that is in an industrial park here in Wilmington off of Capitol. And the walls were painted flat white, and we had harsh fluorescence overhead, and we had a wooden bar and 8 taps, and we couldn't pour the beers fast enough. There was 4 of us back there just trying to keep up with the crowd, and people were waiting in line for 20 minutes to get a pint, and then going back to the back of the line and getting right back in and drinking while they were waiting.
That's a smart way to do it.
It was absolutely downpouring that day. I actually came, one of the original of the 3 I was friends with in high school, and a couple of us came to support him. And it wasn't just rain, it was like thunder and lightning. And it was just warm enough out where it was like, well, the beer's good, I guess I'm gonna get wet today. And I had to park across the street. There wasn't any parking available in the entire industrial park. So it's definitely successful.
And speaking of the success story of it, you eventually, I think that was like 3 years later, you guys, grew so big, or grew out of that environment, that you opened up the second location. And I believe that's when you started canning too.
We started canning right at the end of 2018, and that was a nice leap forward for us. We have our own canning machine, and so we were able to do small releases and just keep another to-go option available for people that came into the tap room. And it was around that same time that we started looking for a spot to host our second location. And we found one in North Wilmington at a strip mall, and it's on Marsh Road, and it's easy access off 95 from Delaware County. We're only about 10 minutes from Delaware County. And that second location had opened in February of 2020, which was just an ideal time to start the next phase of our expansion in business.
That's what we thought.
It was like the looming, like, oh God. Then, so the pandemic hit, obviously. And
Opening.
yeah, which is like obviously not your ideal. And so what kept it alive? What kept you guys, running as far as the pandemic was concerned?
Well, it's exactly what you said. It's the canning that kept us going. Delaware did not allow us to be open for on-premise consumption because we weren't a restaurant. And then actually all the restaurants were only doing to-go sales as well. So the fact that we owned our own canning equipment, small as it is, allowed us to keep 4-packs and 16-ounce cans available to go at both locations, and it paid the bills. It kept us alive for that year while we weren't really allowed to do a whole lot. And the restrictions finally eased up in the spring of 2021, and things have gotten steadily better since then. But it was the fact that we didn't have to worry about calling in a mobile canning company or rely on somebody else to help package our beer that allowed us to stay in business.
Yeah. Now, as far as business concerns are, related, you also belong to the Delaware Beer Brewers Guild. And I know that Delaware had put up restrictions or laws or whatever, where they prevent you guys from selling in store. The Delaware Brewers Guild kind of brought you guys together for creating a beer to help kind of bring awareness and whatnot to that issue. And you guys participated in the Della We Are beer. What was that like? How, bringing, coming together and creating a recipe that is built off of, hops that are from Delaware?
So everybody, all the different breweries that participated, I think all of us did it. It was about 22 different breweries, and I'm pretty sure just about everybody signed on. But everyone was able to make what they came up with as their idea of a Delaware IPA, and so we used local honey. Delaware is not a really great climate for growing hops, so we didn't use hops. We used local grain from Proximity Malt, which is grown on the Delmarva Peninsula. And there's Small Wonder Honey is a local vendor, and they get wildflower honey from their backyard here in Wilmington and sell it locally at craft sales and things like that. And that was our main focus in doing that New England IPA. As far as the Delaware Brewers Guild is concerned, they helped us with marketing it, and they had come up with a label design and just asked that we not tweak it too much. And it was a really great project to kind of bring the whole brewing community together to try and support the people that have supported us, because they were always interfacing with the governor's office and with the restaurant association to try and figure out what was coming next and be an advocate for us while the government was trying to help everybody, but at the same time trying to restrict how they went about having that good time and save everybody. It was a really tight rope to walk, and I don't begrudge anybody that responsibility, but trying to remain in business was what we were focused on. And the Brewers Guild was an advocate for us, and being able to participate in that project and give back to them was important for us.
Yeah. And that is, I know, a huge thing for you guys, because Not only do I know the founder of Trauma Survivors Foundation, but I know a bunch of different, foundations in addition to that. But I've noticed on your events calendar, you offer a lot of support for the community surrounding you as far as first responders are concerned and teachers. So one of the things moving forward that you've done is collaborated with various foundations to offer up different events. So what are some of the events that you've thrown in the past and that you are preparing for moving forward?
I guess that's me. So I'll start with the Trauma Survivors Foundation. They have been a growing partner with us at both of our locations. And Dennis, who is the primary person that we work with there that runs everything, is, first of all, just a really amazing human. And he does a lot with the events and also outside of the events. He has helped us grow as far as the size of our events. Last year in October, the Delaware Beer Festival ran out of our Brandywine location on Marsh Road, and we sold about 1,200 tickets. Dennis has his sights set on something closer to 4,000 tickets this year, which our facility can handle. So it's going to be our first offsite event, and that we run, and that's going to be October 1st. I don't think we've settled on a place just yet, but tickets should be opening up soon once we settle on that. And then we run a number of happy hours out of the brewery, not just for the Trauma Survivors Foundation, but we've been trying to reach out to additional foundations and charity organizations throughout the state. And a little bit, as Rob mentioned, particularly our Brandywine location is really close to the Pennsylvania line. So if they're a little bit in Delaware, primarily in Pennsylvania, we're here to help everybody. It's definitely a mutually beneficial relationship. So we run different charities. Each month is the beneficiary Renee's Rescues, which is animal rescue group here in Delaware, is our May beneficiary. So $1 from every pint sold on Mondays at both of our locations goes straight to them. And then we just write them a check at the end of the month. And we do a different charity every month for that. And then throughout the month, not just that charity, but additional people are able to come to us, and we run, we help them run different happy hour events so that way they're able to accrue additional money and have a safe space where not only do their guests want to come and hang out, but also, we like to be able to do a little bit of that legwork for them to make it as easy as possible for them, because at the end of the day, they already do so much for the community. Every little bit helps, but I like to be able to kind of do some of that legwork. So right now, most of the smaller charity events are going on, but in July, benefiting the Sporting Kids, we're going to be having a Christmas in July at the Brandywine location. So that's our most current, our larger charity event happening right now in the near future.
And jumping off of different events, not charity, but a big event, because you guys, as you had mentioned before, your birthday celebration of 5 years, and you're the one that's upcoming, your 6th year anniversary is actually this coming weekend. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. It's actually this coming Saturday. It's at 3605 Old Capitol Trail, which is our flagship location. It's that original smaller brewery that you mentioned earlier. The cool thing about that and being in a warehouse situation now is that we're able to gain additional permits that we've filed for, so that way we can close off part of the parking lot and enjoy the outside weather, knock on wood. And be able to kind of have some music outside. A group called Lowbrow Bastards is coming to play with us. And then we have a food truck, Bristow Live Fire Pizza, who makes the most amazing pizza. I'm fond of the Honey Badger, is also coming, and they'll be with us. And like I said, that starts at 5 and then it goes all night. And we're really excited to still be here. Honestly, 6 is my lucky number, so I'm excited for our 6th anniversary here.
Which is exciting. Yay. And look
Exciting.
forward to the 7th and 8th and 9th.
Especially pandemic in the middle there, it's like you kind of have to remind yourself, like, what year is this anymore?
Now, for anybody who is watching this on YouTube later on, they can see that you guys are at the brewery and indulging in a beverage. So cheers to you. So what are some of the beers that you have on tap right now that, what's one of your more popular beers? I know that when I was there, I had that chai one that you recommended.
Yep.
She lined up like four or 5 different ones. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to like the chai. And I was like, oh, this is so good.
Chai, and you were like, no, I don't know. And I was like, well, here's a bunch of ones that you talked about. I don't think you even touched the other ones. You're like, no, this is it. Let's go.
I did try all the rest of them, but that one was like, oh, no. She was right.
We originally brewed that one for the first pandemic-ridden Kennett Brew Festival. They did like a take-home kind of setup where each brewery, you got 2 beers from every brewery that participated for a total of a ridiculous amount of beer. And then you got to take it home and go with friends and try it. A lot of people split it because it wasn't really a ticket basis. So that recipe was originally built by our brewer, Joe Bob, for that event. And it was so popular because we had a little bit of it left and put it on tap. It was so popular that he almost immediately right after had to brew more of it to kind of fulfill that demand.
I have to say that after trying it, I definitely want to come back and like buy like a growler.
Cans too.
Fully available in 4-packs. So some of the other ones, we have our top selling beer forever is the Orange Street Ale, which is a cream ale with orange blossom honey and sweet orange peel. That beer is always available at both of our locations and in 4-packs. Features this coming week, we have a couple of New England IPAs, our Easy New England IPA, El Hopo.
That one's for Cinco de Mayo.
Yep, and then we have a couple of our sours. Our Joe Jam mixed berry or raspberry flavors will both be available this weekend. And we also have a sour series called the Fruited Offering. So they're 5% ABV, and we do a variety of different fruit flavors. We do mango, we do white peach, raspberry.
I'm drinking the guava colada right now. Just like a pina colada, and that makes me really happy.
I'll have to try that next time because now I trust everything that you put in front of me. So I unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wrap you guys up. When you're having fun on radio, when you're having fun interviewing, it's not work, it's play. So where can we find you online?
So you can go to our website, which is bellefontebrewingco.com, or you can check us out on Facebook. All of our events are listed on our events page, but the majority of the details are actually on our Facebooks. We have 2 separate Facebooks. One's just Bellefonte Brewing, and the other one's Bellefonte Brandywine. And then they share a joint Instagram, which is Bellefonte Brewing Co.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Rob and Sarah. And cheers. Enjoy the rest of your beer. And I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having us.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take a break and we'll be right back.
Tune in to Dining on a Dime to hear from Gene Blum, our chef, educator, consultant, and historian. You can find him across social media at IBFoodie2 or Gene Blum at ibfoodie2@yahoo.com. And you can also tune in to listen to Amaris Pollock and find her across social media at ARPOLLOCKUS@gmail.com.
And we're back. Amaris Pollock, introduce us to your fabulous guest.
Hey, everyone. I want to introduce you to the amazing and talented, and you will hear her name more often, I am sure, Chef Emily Chellew. She is currently the executive chef at Crybaby Pasta, which is one of Bridget Foy's little babies. And Chef, thank you for joining us on Food Farms and Chefs.
Thanks for having me.
So I was telling you before, we got into the interview that I am a little bit like taken, like, I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity because your history within the culinary world is just amazing, considering like you are so young still, and like, yet you have a track record of working at some of the more esteemed and established places that are found in our country, but then also in Australia.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your history in the culinary world? Where did you graduate from? And then where have you worked? Like, where are some of the places that you've worked? Because I can't get over the people and the restaurants that you worked for.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I graduated from culinary school. I went to the Culinary Institute of America, and I graduated in 2010. Shortly after that, I moved to Philadelphia and started working at Fork under Terrence Fury. And that's where I really started to get like a taste of the fine dining world and became obsessed. And I met Andrew Wood there. He was a sous chef there. And he took me along to help him open up Russet, which was a BYOB in Rittenhouse. And that's where I feel like I really came into my own as a chef. It was like farm to table, and I don't know, Andrew, I consider him my mentor now. He really encouraged me to move out to California and like, really go hard out there and like learn about like the vegetables and, all the great chefs and everything there. So I started out at Atelier Cren. I specifically chose it because Dominique Cren is amazing. I really wanted to work for a female chef specifically. And yeah, I worked there for about a year and then moved on to Cezanne, which was super fun. One of my most favorite jobs ever. I love playing with fire. But yeah, so like, that's when I started to realize I like hopping around a lot, So I came back to Philly for a little while, had like a short little stint as the CDC at Little Fish.
Okay.
And then after that, that's when I moved to Australia. And, I hadn't really planned on like cooking like in a very reputable place. I kind of just wanted to like run around Australia and have fun. But I got sucked into Lume and met this amazing chef, Sean Quaid, who now has a vegan cheese company in LA. But yeah, I was a pastry chef there. And I absolutely loved that job, and I'm so glad that I did it. But yeah, did some casual work there too. And then, yeah, I got like bit by the backpacking bug. So I was hopping around a little bit and fell into Crybaby when I came back from Australia. And I just picked it up as like a casual job, doing some prep before I went on a backpacking trip to South America for a few months. And so, I worked at Crybaby for like 2 months as a prep cook. And then, went on a backpacking trip and came back, and like, I love Bridget Foy, like I love working with women. And so she sucked me back in, and it's been my longest job ever. And I really love it.
Which is good. And like your history within the culinary world, you have bounced between like working, as you said, working with fire. You've worked with where the etiquette is like tweezers and put it on, place it onto a plate. You have a large history of and a vast knowledge of I'm sorry, I do have a cold, so I'm battling that. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
But
Oh, good. Okay.
yeah, sorry. You have a huge history within the culinary world and like a vast knowledge based on like all the different restaurants that you've worked at and so many genres of it. Now, how are you pulling all of that together at Crybaby Pasta?
Well, like I think I have such a wide range of things because I could never choose one specific one. There's nothing that I like really love the most, but I do truly love like shaping intricate little pastas by hand. So I think that's why I kind of lean towards Crybaby because, in my perfect world, like I would just be shaping raviolis every day for the rest of my life.
Now, I mean, I don't know if I would like that seems like tedious shaping raviolis every day, but I would go after gnocchis. Gnocchis are so much easier for me. But like you also have delved into a new something new that I have a lot of accolades for. You are going to be competing in Dish It Up.
Mhm.
So with your history and all of the vast knowledge, I know that you can't actually tell us like what you're going to be creating exactly, but are
Yeah.
you going to be in the sweets category, the savory, or both?
It'll actually maybe it is a little bit of both, but yeah, I mean it'll fit under the umbrella of Crybaby Pasta. I'll say that much.
So that's a lot to look forward to. That's such a that's a nice hint too.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in that and what inspired you? Is there somebody in your life that, inspired you or, a specific motivation? And mind you, I know that that could be like a very personal answer. So you don't need to get into it if you don't want, but if you feel comfortable enough.
Yeah, no, totally. I do feel okay with it. I've been like very open about this in my own personal social media and everything. But yeah, I am a survivor of sexual assault. And, since I have been so vocal in my personal life, both like out in public and on social media, a lot of people have come to me and shared their stories as well. So I do know quite a few victims of sexual assault and domestic violence. So it does like hit close to home for me. And I think I find the most comfort in like a community of women, just like sharing things and just like having, just a beautiful, loving community. So I think that Dish It Up is going to be a fantastic way to represent that.
And I believe that, that's as well. We will be there present during Dish It Up. We're one of the we're the media sponsor for it. So it's very important to like let people know, come out because it has a huge effect on everyone, especially in the Philadelphia area, specifically in the Philadelphia area, because domestic abuse is something that affects everyone. So, thank you for sharing, by the way, your story. Because, I know people who have been affected by it. I've been affected by it. And so Dish It Up, which benefits Women Against Abuse, the foundation, they're hosting that. And so it's about a 500 people are going to be attending. Does that make you nervous at all, having that many people attend?
No. The more the merrier.
But so it gets your face out there, it gets, the word out there too. So, and that's very important to get the word out. And, I think that for anybody who is, listening right now, if you are affected by domestic abuse or know somebody who is, there is a number for Women Against Abuse. Their number is 866-723-3014. So that if you need to call the line or whatnot and, discuss what's happening in your life, by all means, call that line. But I'm excited for all of you chefs who have been touched by domestic abuse, either, by knowing somebody or by having experienced it yourself, coming together and creating meals and, creating this huge event, and competing with some of your talents where, it's kind of bringing that awareness, but also like, it's a very enjoyable experience because, we're all coming together to offer that support. So I thank you for your participation in the competition.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can get very competitive. So
Well, that's good because I mean that's the maybe you'll come out on top with the award, the Dish It Up award. So what are some of the things, like, I don't know if you speak with any of the other competitors. Do you know who is going to be competing with savory versus sweet?
no, actually I don't. But I'm just gonna give it my best shot.
That's good. I
Yeah.
mean, and I'll be there. I'll be there to taste it. And I've had your crybaby pasta, like some of your like pastas and sauces.
Oh, yeah.
I love the bolognese sauce. I think it's the bolognese sauce. I had it for the first time with the fresh pasta that you guys make, and it's like I was like, I don't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So now as far as other things that are happening with you, what else do you have going on?
Well, I guess we can talk about this. I've actually like recently been diagnosed with celiac, which is wild as the executive chef of a pasta place. So I am sort of working on a little gluten-free pop-up.
Nice.
Still in the
Congrats.
very beginning works of it, but yeah, it'll happen at Crybaby on a Monday.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And I mean, and for our listeners, that we have a lot of listeners, and we do have the listeners that are that have to follow the gluten-free diet and have to that are vegan and whatnot. So you at Baby Pasta offer a variety of dishes. So now you'll have that going for you as well.
Mm-hmm.
So are you playing around with dish ideas right now?
I am. I'm pretty happy with a gluten-free tart crust that I've developed. But yeah, and I don't know, gluten-free pasta is pretty difficult, so it's going to take a little more R&D on my part to get the perfect one and for me to be confident hosting said pop-up.
I think you'd be fine. And like I'm sure promoting, like sending out press releases and like marketing on Instagram and whatnot would be easier. And hey, maybe you can tap into the sisterly love food fair genre too, like, and have them help you cross promote that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And now you said that you love working for female chefs in Bridget Foy. Have you ever gone over to any of her other location?
No, I mean, no, I've never like worked at Bridget Foy's, but like, I'm always hanging out in there. We're only a block away. So like we like share some of the same equipment, and it's a very like we have a nice little tight-knit crew going on between the two restaurants.
Which is good.
Yeah.
And have you ever had, because I've had the Bridget Foy's Paloma, the like, yeah. And I'm like, I was like scrolling through your Instagram. I think it was your Instagram or maybe it was hers. And I came across, there was a strawberry one. And I was like, oh my God, I need to have that.
Yeah.
Have you ever like created come up with some of the recipes for cocktails or anything with her? Or?
No, Guy Smith does do the program for both Bridget Foy's and Crybaby, the whole beverage program. And he does a really great job of like picking out the wines and coming up with the cocktails. I think it's like a very approachable but like complex cocktail program he's got going on. And I really don't do any input. He's like just runs the whole show.
Okay. And as far as crybaby pasta is concerned, do you guys have any kind of different celebrations that are coming up? I know that you're not, Latin, but like Cinco de Mayo is coming up, Mother's Day. Do you guys have any kind of planned celebrations for any of that?
Yeah, we are celebrating Mother's Day. So I'm doing a strawberry ravioli. We actually I like developed this dish when I was working at Russet. And we used to put foie on top of it, but this time it's just going to be vegetarian with some aged balsamic. And then, I'm culturing some butter right now to serve with some radishes and fava beans and things like that.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
And then do you have any because I've seen that in the past, there's like sometimes tasting menus or, like a dinner, dinner deal where it's like, a prefixed, there we go. That's the word, a prefixed menu so that you can choose off of, a starter, a main and dessert. Do you guys have anything like that coming up for any of the celebrations that are upcoming?
Nothing planned yet. We do the occasional like wine prefix, like pairing situation. So I'm sure another one will surface sometime soon.
And now this is almost terrible to ask a chef because obviously your palate is expansive, but like what on the menu is one of your favorite things to enjoy?
It's a little bit difficult to answer now that I can't have a lot of the menu.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry, but you can create it.
No, but pre celiacs, I guess my favorite pasta dish would be the creste de gallo, which we make with kale water and spirulina. And the sauce is like a mushroom ragu, and it has like lots of leeks and like 4 or 5 different types of mushrooms and like lots of thyme and rosemary. And it's just like umami bomb and like really herbal, and I love it.
Wait, now what was that dish called again?
It's called the creste de gallo.
Because that sounds amazing and I kind of want it right in front of me right now.
Yeah.
Now, as far as social media is concerned, I found you on Instagram, but do you have any other social media that we could find you at? And then where can we find Crybaby Pasta and Dish It Up's event?
Oh yeah. So my personal Instagram is Chellew. I also run Crybaby's Instagram, which is just Crybaby Pasta. So yeah, you can find me in either one of those. Yeah.
And then to buy tickets to experience your food at Dish It Up, we can, direct people to womenagainst.abuse.org. And you can buy tickets. They're up for grabs still. And, you can enjoy a bunch of different culinary delights from everyone, but in particular, Chef Emily Chellew. And, vote for her. Emily, thank you so much for joining us on Food Farms and Chefs.
Thank you.
And I wish you luck at the competition and also with your new endeavor with the gluten-free, guess I can say pasta, the gluten-free pasta choices.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
All right. We are very proud to be doing a live show from the Dish It Up event on May 18th at Lincoln Financial Field. We will be there. Just got our banner today. I'm going to be having the banner there and everything else. So thank you so much. We're very excited about the Dish It Up event on May 18th. PhillyRestaurantReviews.com for all information about the show. Amaris Pollock
You can find me across social media at arpolicus, or you can email me at arpolicus@gmail.com or foodforumsandchefs@yahoo.com if you would like to be a sponsor or guest on the show. And you can find Gene Blum at ibfoodie2 across social media, or email him at ibfoodie2@yahoo.com.
Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you.